What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the season finale of the Mike Podcast. That's Mix in Chat. I'm your boy HaVic, here with my boy D-Lo.
Yo, what's up?
And we got two special guests in the building to help us conclude this first season. We got our boy Cha-Cha.
What up, what up, what up?
And we got HaVic back.
Hey, what's up?
All right, y'all, so let's get into it. All right, so welcome back, and I will go ahead and let y'all know that this episode is going to dive heavy into sports and heavy into social issues. We have two different podcasts that are coming together right now, hence the group effort. We have What It Is with D-Lo and Cha-Cha, and we have The Fuck I Had Said with HaVic and HaVic. So there will be two different dynamics coming in on this episode, but know that we are reaching a wide variety of people and a big audience. So each episode could be something different. This is the season finale, so we wanted to bring y'all a little sample of what was going on and what's going to be going on moving forward. For this first part, we're going to hand it over to D-Lo, who's going to get into it on the Olympics, and then Cha-Cha, who's going to talk about the NBA. So what's been going on?
So first of all, I gotta correct something from last time we was on there, on the coach of the Olympics team. So it's not Grant Hill. Grant Hill's the operation, in charge of operations.
Okay.
So the coach is actually Steve Kerr. Then you have Mark Pugh as the assistant head coach, Tyronn Lue, and then Eric Spoelstra. So that's the coaching staff. So I did make a mistake. But nonetheless, the only thing I'm actually worried about this team is Kawhi Leonard. He was a late entry. The Clippers did say he was available one game, and they just ran with it and gave him the last spot.
They have alternates, right?
I think so. I honestly like to rather see Halliburton on there instead of him. You know, somebody like that. Maybe even Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
He was a good one.
Could Shea? You think Shea could play three?
Oh no, he's on Canada. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Representing for his,
Yeah. So, which I mean, he bought out for Canada in the World Cup.
So, question though.
Yeah.
So there's a person that plays NBA basketball in America, but when it comes to the Olympics, he can play for Canada?
Well, they have dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's from Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was confused. He's like, he's Canada.
So is Jamal Murray. And like Embiid, is he playing for USA?
Yeah, he's playing for USA, which that was a hot topic because he's actually from Cameroon.
Yeah, and he played for them in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's players.
So, I think it's a hot topic just because I think he's trying to solidify his way to go to get the gold because
he needs to get an NBA title, and that'll shut all that up. You don't have to play anywhere else. Just get his team to get a damn title.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the team as a whole?
As a whole,
yeah.
Oh man, I mean,
you think we're gonna take that gold?
Yeah. Which actually, never mind on the Halliburton as a stand-in. He's already on there. Brown would be a good one. He's not actually on there. Yeah, I think we got a good way of taking the gold because I mean, you got Drew Holiday, Tatum, Curry, Ant-Man, which is Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, if he's not hurt. Anthony Davis after his little bum shoulder happened during the playoffs.
So it's not necessarily about the talent, though. It's not about the talent.
It's how well they can play together.
It's and sometimes you got to humble yourself and be able to step back. You know, because everybody on this squad is a superstar, and so like back in the past, Kobe's like, I don't need to score. I'll just be a defender. I'll just be a great defender, and I don't have to worry about scoring. Just let me lock down the best player on the other team.
Yeah, which I think that's going to be Drew Holiday's thing because he's one of the best defenders in the NBA.
But and international ball has gotten better over the years as seen as they who was it that took the gold with Ginobili? Remember they took the gold? Was it
Spain?
No, it was.
Why when he said Ginobili, I was thinking Princess of Genovia.
It was. It wasn't Spain, but I think they because US got a bronze.
Yeah. That was Spain, I think. I think that was with Gasol.
Yeah. And, it's all about team camaraderie. You know, you can't be an individual playing thinking that the international teams are just going to roll over now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because there's so many Goliaths on that team that it can cause them to lose and turn into days.
And you also can't really think like that as far as when it comes to the Olympic Games, because you're not just representing a team. Now you're representing the entire country.
Yeah.
So as far as that, you have people like, you know, Curry. He's big with having stars around him.
I love Curry.
Booker, he kind of had some stars around him this season, but on a UK level, there was a star-studded team. So I don't think Booker or Bam would have a problem. The only people that I'm actually worried about is Embiid,
Anthony Davis crying about every little touch.
Anthony Davis. LeBron crying at the refs.
Sir Flop a lot.
Come on, Flop.
So
bring home the goat if you got to lay down at half court. I don't care. Bring home the goat. That's all I'm saying. That's the one time you allowed to flop LeBron.
As long as he ain't throwing his grown man tender tantrum, I think we'll be good.
Okay. So for all you LeBron fans out there, we just having fun with this. Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Please continue to tune in, because you know
I
one
still
thing
like
I ain't gonna do
LeBron.
is talk about Jordan though. I won't do that.
No.
And he is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
We're not going to
right.
say he's the greatest of all time, because there's many greats within a time.
What's your podcast saying again? The fuck I had said?
The fuck I
sitting
said.
there Yeah. What he see? Yeah.
I'll say that. I mean,
There are a lot of great players. He's Michael. He's Michael.
The fuck he is saying.
So my question is for y'all, each one of y'all, which of the players that are going to the Olympics are you all rooting for the most?
so you want to take that one first?
Yeah, for me, it's Jason Tatum. He's got so much experience as far as NBA, the NBA finals and the NBA tournament. I mean, he's only been to one final, but he's been to a lot of the Eastern Conference finals. And I just think that this would help him get over the hump. I think there's some things that he could take with him that can grow him, because I think there's some things that he lacks as far as getting his team across the finish line. And I can talk about that a little bit more when I get into my NBA segment.
I'm kind of torn because I got a couple players. One would be Booker for the same reason. Two, another one is Halliburton, and I think it would be good for him to be with a star-studded team.
So are any of these players like first-time goers in the Olympic basketball?
Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, he's one.
Drew Holiday.
I
don't know.
Tatum?
I don't know. It's got to be. You said Bam
And Bam. I think this is Bam's first.
Has Steph ever been?
No, actually.
Yeah.
So I think the only people that's actually returning, that's actually played, was Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant.
Embiid, he's got experience, but he was for a different country.
But Bam's the only UK basketball player that it's their first time, or is
Booker.
Booker too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then LeBron, of course.
Booker's the handsome one, ain't he? Yeah. Okay.
Light skinned mother.
Period.
Light skinned mother. Boop.
So
The fuck he is saying.
but
yes.
So, but yeah, I think, like I said, the only person that I'm actually worried about would be Kawhi. It's just because you look at him wrong, he's hurt, and then Embiid, he's just.
Why are we taking fragile players? Like, what's the team?
Because it's about the star quality.
Yeah.
And they always have an alternate in the background. Like, you a superstar, but just hang in there because we think Kawhi's knee is going to give out. So you just sit still.
So it's the aesthetic.
Stay by your phone.
I don't know what they're going to do if Anthony Davis and Embiid goes out.
But see, Anthony Davis will get hurt during the process, so he'll just be on the bench in the swing.
So is Embiid. I mean, you lick him and he's going down.
We don't need him. He ain't never played for us anyway. Well, that hell.
Well, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with him. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think I'm very excited about him too. I mean,
women's gymnastics.
Oh my gosh! But the thing is, HaVic knows a little bit about the women's gymnastics because there's some records that's going on.
So what are y'all excited to see at the Olympics?
Yeah,
the gymnastics, women's gymnastics,
floor exercise.
I'm more excited to see if the returning gold medalist JaVie Douglas even makes it back to the
Oh, really? I didn't know that. She's coming back?
Yes.
Oh, she got the seat.
She
Word up.
performed here recently in a competition, and she did okay. She had little mistakes here and there and stuff like that, but that's any given gymnast.
Yeah, she's
which
been
is
out of the game too, right?
Yeah, she's been out of the game for years, so she was kind of influenced by the negativity of social media. So she's like, I'm trying to step back. Like, I can still do this. I'm still strong. I'm still powerful.
Yeah, I'm not old.
And I still have confidence.
She's not old.
Yeah.
I mean, she's old for gymnasts, but she's not old.
Yeah, also, too, I think it's kind of a little shade rivalry quietness with her and Simone Biles.
Yes, say that.
But we're not talking, but ain't nobody talking about that, but I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
And she I think she wants to make the history of being the oldest woman to come back into the Olympics. And if she didn't come back, then it would be Simone.
Okay.
So I'm kind of eager to see if the selection committee is going to pick her to go. Mm-hmm. Whose side are they on, or they don't care, or are they based on talent?
That's what I was about to say. So
it's all about the points, though.
So
you get them points, and they can't leave you off. So go there and do what the hell you supposed to do.
Facts.
Next week we'll see, because they'll be in Connecticut, and all of them going to be there. Simone Biles, JaVie Douglas, Suni Lee.
Now, is that televised?
Yes, that is televised.
What's it coming on?
I think it's going to be actually streamed on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
I'll be watching it. Just look over your shoulder, honey. Ooh, I'll be there. Just look over your shoulder. I'm watching it. I'm telling you, I'm watching the full exercise. I don't care.
It's going to be great. And it's so they can actually create two teams because they have so much talent. Mm-hmm. You have the old wigs and the new wigs, and it's like...
And they literally wearing wigs.
What the fuck you is? So
it's good stuff.
I wonder how they're gonna go. You're gonna go with the experience, or you're gonna go with the new? Like, how they're gonna select 5 of these gymnasts to go when everybody's so hungry?
My favorite thing is the uneven bars. I love the uneven bars.
Hey, yeah.
And I want to see who makes it. I hope JaVie Douglas makes it.
I just hope the committee doesn't fall into the whole sort of social media frenzy.
That's the thing.
And leave somebody off that deserves to be there. Like for instance, JaVie Douglas. She's earned her right to be there.
And she's been there before.
But she goes to Connecticut and does well. And then for some reason she misses the last spot. But she outdid the person that's taking her spot.
Right. So wait, have they not actually announced who's going on the
gymnastics? See, basically the thing for us gymnastics, they have like certain tournaments that leads up to the Olympic trials. So you have to qualify and get.
See, I thought they already did that.
No, you have to qualify and get like the points to go to the next tournament.
Exactly.
And then make sure you get those type of qualifications to go to the Olympic trials.
Do what you got to do.
Just the selection committee picks between those that makes it to the Olympic trials.
That's where I got confused on, because when I was looking up the Olympics, I thought I seen about JaVie Douglas, but I just didn't get to read into it that much.
Yeah, she made it to the next competition, which is in Connecticut, and I can't wait to see, because it's just like basically spewing your talents to see how physically fit you are right now to do what needs to be done.
Honey, that's like Nastia Lukin coming back and was like, "Here, let me do one more real quick."
Yeah.
She's sickening.
She is.
JaVie Douglas, if you out there listening, JaVie, do what you have to do. Do not leave it in the hands of the judges.
We're all rooting
Put in
for
work.
you.
Put in the work, and we'll see you. In the Olympics. Just don't leave it in the hand of the judges. Just get the points. Get the points.
She's got to.
Like Karate Kid, get the point.
Speaking of the points,
stick the landing, honey.
Speaking of the points, what's going on in this NBA with the playoffs?
So there's just two things I want to talk about.
Okay.
The first one is Jamal Murray for the Denver Nuggets. He threw a heating pad out on the floor in the middle of the game. Like up under the basket. Yeah, the other day.
Why?
Because he was upset at the referees. But but a player could have really got injured.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like it went like up under the basket. While he was in the act of shooting and everything. And then he threw a towel out earlier, and then he did the money sign to the referees, which shows that conflict with integrity of the game. Now you're saying, y'all, somebody's in y'all's pockets, whatever. If y'all not getting,
or is he in somebody's pockets? Because it sounds like he's trying to throw the game for somebody.
The refs never saw the heating pad, so he didn't even get a tech for it. He was on the bench. He didn't even get a tech for it. But the league saw, everybody in the world saw it. Everybody, and all they did. Well, I ain't gonna say all they did because they fined him $100,000.
Oh,
but he didn't get suspended. He didn't get suspended.
Oh, he should have got that too.
And so that's what I want to talk about. What do you think and why? Because I think it'll be unanimous. Because just the fact alone that he could have potentially ended a player's career. And see, the person that was shooting the shot was Karl Anthony Towns for the Timberwolves, and he's just getting back from a knee injury. He was out for near the end of the regular season for it was either a meniscus tear or strain or MCL, one of the two, something with it, And
pull it up.
Yeah. Turn down for what?
So my question is, I would really like to see the video because it's more like, was it like he just like threw it out there and side-eyed, or was it like he accidentally dropped it out
behind the backboard, right? And like, so the way he was,
no, not behind the backboard. He was behind his bench on the sideline.
Yeah, so here's the backboard. The way they showed it, so here's the camera, right? The backboard, and then they had the shot clock right here. He was behind that and threw it. Like,
but it came from the side though. Yes. It didn't come from under the back. It came from the side. It slid.
So this was intentional.
Yeah, no.
It's all over. Oh, you can see him throwing. You can see it. They got all that. There's a million camera angles out there, man. You can't miss it.
I got something to say about that because I'm a professional bowler. So if we do anything that's out of line, far as hitting stuff or cussing or doing something that should not be tolerated because we are professionals.
Yes.
They did the right thing by fining him.
Yes.
Suspension, I don't think he did anything to be suspended.
I do.
That to whom teaches his own.
Period.
But as a professional, I don't think the severity of it was that much for him to be suspended.
So allow me to create a narrative for a bowling narrative then. So let's just say that it's your turn. And you're going through your whatever your ritual is, and just as you take your first step, somebody on the opposing team grabs you by the back of your leg, your ankle, as you.
No,
or
I don't think that's.
I've seen it.
Or they throw the towel out on the floor in front of you,
and you buckle your knee and tear up your MCL and your ACL.
I gotta agree with y'all now.
Yeah, because you have to
see that.
Because you have to see. We'll have to show the video after.
Okay.
Because the player was in midair and was coming down, and Anthony Towns was, and it was right. If he hits that heating pad on the way down, his knee buckles the wrong way, and he's done.
I don't even have to see the video.
So let me.
You're absolutely right. I will back on.
But
speaking of
that, there was another controversy during the playoffs. So Patrick Beverley, he's known as a hothead. Okay, so at the end of the Bucks game when they got eliminated,
they was getting eliminated by the Indiana Pacers.
There was a fan behind the Bucks bench. There was a reporter. He's like a well-known NBA reporter. He said that the fan chanted,
"See you in Cancun."
Cancun in 3.
Yeah, that means when you going to Cancun, you going on vacation. You getting eliminated.
Yeah.
So that's what they say now. You head on to Cancun. You out of here.
So what happened was Patrick Beverley hurled the ball at the fan, but it ended up hitting a woman that was sitting next to him.
Right?
So the fan, he just lobbed it back to him. He didn't throw it back. And Patrick Beverley did it again, but much harder.
This is as juicy as the women's basketball feeling.
Then afterwards, during an interview, which is an ESPN reporter, okay, and Patrick Beverley, he's all big about his podcast.
He's silly.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say his podcast ain't really all that good.
Thank you for tuning in on the Mike Podcast.
Yeah.
So, there was a reporter trying to get an interview with him, and he said he looks at her and is like, do you subscribe to the pod? And she said no. He's like, I'm not interviewing.
Well, you can't interview me. Somebody please remove her.
And she said, well, we got her coworker there. I guess he does subscribe to his pod, and so he was interviewing him, but she had the microphone pointed to him. he kept waving her microphone away.
Yeah, he told her, somebody please remove her. He said, somebody please take her microphone and remove her.
And then he said, do you subscribe to my pod? And she said no. And he's like, well, can you step out of the circle? Because there's a circle that they stand in.
Yeah.
And he said, get out of my circle. He got suspended 4 games.
4 games for hitting for one hitting the female fan upside the head, and then when they tossed the ball back, he didn't even care about that. He tossed it again and tried to hit the fan that he tried to hit the first time, and actually hit it. He kind of caught it though, but yeah, he lit the old girl up. He lit her up.
Yeah,
and but see, here's my thing to that. I think he got what he deserves. He's not great anyway. The team's not going to miss him. 4 games. That's going into next season.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
if
not
he's even on the bus.
Yeah,
even if he's
even on a team. Because that was an elimination game. He was, and that's why they were saying, see you in Cancun. He was out of there. Peace, deuces.
And I think he becomes a free agent at the end of this season.
So it doesn't help him to have that. And I've always said that about him. For some reason, he's a distraction. He can make a shot and then get a technical foul because he didn't get the foul call or whatever. He'll kill the momentum of his team for no reason. He's just a distraction. But my main point of this is if you're gonna create a podcast and you want to be a media person, it doesn't matter what type it is. If it's audio, if it's video and audio, or if it's on TV, ESPN, you have to maintain a certain level of professionalism.
Yes.
And so just because it's a podcast and it's censor free doesn't give you the right to lose your professionalism because you're getting paid.
My thing is, what I would have said was, "Are you subscribing to my podcast?" She would have said no. I'm like, "Well, open your phone and I'm gonna show you where to subscribe."
Exactly.
Like, I would have made it a point to kind of, even if I'm talking to her about her subscribing to it, I'm gonna walk her step by step, so whoever's listening to what we're talking about is doing the same thing on their device.
It doesn't make good business sense
at all.
Because think about it. Imagine if he even has just women that like basketball,
right?
And like what he talks about. Imagine when they hear him or see him disrespect that woman trying to do her job.
Or disrespect a girl throwing the ball.
Oh, also, too.
Unsubscribe.
And also,
with this feminist movement.
And it's an ESPN reporter, which holds a big deal on the TV deals. So
if they don't want him back.
And the NBA is...
Good luck getting picked up by another team.
Yeah, like no team is going to want that.
He made a very, very big mistake.
And the NBA don't want to be represented.
But he also missed on a big opportunity.
Yeah, he's been on somebody else's podcast and he has apologized. He said I'll have to be better, which is what he was supposed to do.
But also too, and he tried to say that the fan said something out of pocket for that.
They always that's they go to.
And now there's a police investigation.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he doesn't give himself a leg to stand on because what he committed was assault.
But see,
if she presses charges, it's a done deal. It's over.
But see, my thing is, if that fan would have said something worse than that, the bench wouldn't have acted the way they acted because they just stood there and looked at it.
And I'll go one step further. Giannis, the superstar of the team, he was out hurt. But he was on the bench. He actually went over and shook the fan's hand like, it ain't about all that. We get it.
That bad.
He went up. Yeah, it's since after Patrick Beverly threw it a second time. They were like trying to, shield Patrick Beverly from doing any more harm to just, make the team look bad. So he went over and so that's great that, you actually get to shake, a fan got to shake your hand. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You just, it's just, friendly competition. At the end of the day, and fans are going to be what are going to be because players do the same thing to each other on the court.
Which going to bring up my comment, and because it was kind of like, I am a big Jamal Murray fan just because he is a UK player. You know what I'm saying, and he's a good player. But it's kind of who did it worse type deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have you heard his response? Have you heard his semi-apology?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so let me get into that real quick, and then I'm gonna let you say what you have to say because I don't want to. I want to stick a pin in what you got to say.
Right.
But I wanted to compare the two because Patrick Beverly, he actually apologized. He went on somebody else's podcast and said it should have never happened. I was wrong. I will be better. I should have been. No matter what they said. But they said more than Cancun. Of course, he had to slide that in. But he professionally apologized. Jamal Murray, on the other hand, so so when it originally happened, he didn't come out for the press conference, so they never had a chance to question him about it.
And normally they fine people for that.
So 2 days later, after he gets his $100,000 fine, so that's the first thing, they're having their shoot arounds or whatever practice, and you still have the obligation to meet with the press during that time. So they're asking him, so what went on? Did you have a chance to, think about what you've done and this and that? He's like, well, I hold myself responsible, but it was what it was. Next question. And so they're still trying to understand, well, have you, do you feel like that you hurt the team or whatever? And he's like, I don't know why we're talking about this. There's nothing more I can say about this. This was 2 days ago. Next question.
Why is he acting like that?
I'm gonna get to that. That's a great question. That is a great question. That leads into my next point.
I feel like they should be doing him the way they did dude that was betting against for himself in the.
Oh, you talking about Michael Porter Jr.'s brother?
Yeah.
But that's But see, that's the integrity of the sport, because now you can get out there.
But at the same time, what he did by throwing that heating pad out there is the integrity of the sport. You were trying to cause somebody to completely not have a career anymore.
And the NBA spared him, and he's unapologetic.
Facts.
And so then he goes up and says he looks up and says, does anybody have a basketball question? That is a basketball question, because the game was going on at the time. So what are you doing? But so this is what my thought process is when you ask why you think he's doing that. It's that diva mentality. Yeah. It's the diva mentality. That's why it's hard for coaches to survive in the NBA.
I'm a professional athlete.
I'm making multi-millions, and I can do this, and I don't care what y'all. I'm still gonna play. And I didn't get suspended, and so I think that the NBA sent a wrong message. But at the same time, now he's got a reputation, because this is his first incident. But it's like 3-1, and so and plus the commissioner is going to be watching him, because. Now after we let you off with this $100,000 fine, you go out there and you say this. You don't even act like,
have no remorse.
You're not even thankful that we didn't suspend you during these finals. And then on top of that, they won the championship last year. Yeah. So now he's and I'm gonna say this one last point, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you all. Let you get your point out. But I've always thought that he cries a lot on the court. If you watch him play, he's never committed a foul since the 8th grade. If he commits a foul, the referee call a foul on him, he's up in arms. And then if he takes it to the hole and he doesn't get a call, he don't run back on defense. If he does, he's looking at the referee while he's running while he's running down the court and leaving this. So it's basically 5:04. And so he to me, he just proved my point. I think he cries too much, and now it's moved off the court with him, and it's just showing. And so in the future, he's going to have to be better if he wants to be a superstar and be lifted up by fans in the league, because now he's officially a villain.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the fact of what has happened with the situation, wrong is wrong and right is right.
And he's not 100%.
You're not even wrong.
He's injured, so. He's already damaged goods and affecting his team in a negative way just with his physical play. Being not able to play 100%. So just sit over and
your attitude in your mouth.
Yeah.
So my question is, as far as like right now, with all that going on, where is the NBA playoffs? Has it ended? Is it still going on?
Second round. Second round. In fact, it's really just game. It's the best of 7.
Yeah. Okay.
So They just completed game 2s, so they're about to go into game 3.
Round 3.
The best out of 7. So they played the first game, the second game, and so they're about to go into the 3rd game.
Okay.
There's some teams that are up 2-0. And best of 7, you just got to win 4.
Gotcha.
And so there's some series are 1-1, some are 2-0. So they're going into the 3rd game. So it's going to go into next week. It probably won't end until next weekend. And then after next weekend, after this round ends, and it's the finals. I mean, the conference finals to get to the NBA finals.
Well, hopefully the teams that's going through everything they're going through right now can actually shape whatever they need off and get back into the game.
Right.
Don't worry about all those shenanigans that their teammates are doing.
It's a distraction.
That's causing harm and distraction because they're all talented because they're there.
Yes.
So with that being said, they just need to focus on the win, the team work, and taking home the win and see if they can move forward into the playoffs.
Yes.
All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That was some really good stuff. Y'all was debating right there. I thought y'all was about to start throwing
honestly,
in.
I could have bring up the coaches that got fired too, but we ain't gonna get it. That's a whole
Season 2 right around the corner.
All right, y'all. When we come back, we are going to get into the topic between HaVic and myself, which is narrative versus yourself and
family dynamics. Fuck I had said.
We'll see you in a second. All right, y'all, and welcome back. So what y'all just heard previous to me telling y'all welcome back was just a little sample of the What It Is podcast that y'all gonna get all next season and for the rest of your lives. And now we are going to transition over to the Fuck I Had Said with HaVic and HaVic. So I'm gonna hand it over to HaVic, who's talking about family dynamics. Let us know about it.
The fuck you had said.
Period.
So with that being said, I know that we all have different upbringings and have been through different things in our lives, changes and current events and stuff when it comes to the meaning of family, and it's very deep and it has many different type of levels that I have experienced. And family is important, and it's basically, you know, people that love you unconditionally, that support everything that you do, whether it's the good times or the bad times, to uplift you. All the things that you will want from every individual that's in your circle.
And these are people that might not even agree with what you're doing, but they're going to be there to catch you when you fall.
Exactly, because everybody is grown.
Facts.
And everybody makes their own decisions and stuff. And you have to treat everybody differently in order for them to be successful, whether they get it or not. And I know that many people have different views about family with their race, whether it be black, white, Chinese, Mexican, and stuff like that. But honestly, I feel that everybody deals with the same problems when it comes to family. I don't think it's a certain race. I don't think it's a certain age. I think we all deal with it and how we cope with it.
Or sexuality.
Sexuality
doesn't even have weight in it.
Yes, absolutely. And I can definitely understand where you come from with that.
Yeah.
You know? So we do want to try and strive to be with those that are our blood families and be there for our blood families. But sometimes it's hard. It's very hard. Sometimes you have to segregate yourself and pull away from your blood relatives that you know are not here for you and that are not supporting of you for the things that you do, and try to manipulate you and other people that's in your family and try to turn them against you, being conniving and evil per se. And with that being said, you have to segregate yourself. And once you do that, some people feel like they have to get into a state of depression, or they have to find other ways or other people to make them feel that way. So you create your own family.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to get into the topic of that, because there's so many different levels of family. And I just want people to know, if you are going through those certain types of things with your family members, that it's okay, that you know what you have to do and do those things and pull back and do things for yourself and for those that are around you that's in your circle, and realize what you have and things that you don't need.
And see, and it can also be like not even the whole the manipulation and the two-faced side. It can also be like a situation to where like they just don't fucks with you. Period. Like they just from day one they don't like you because you give off a vibe that they can never give off. Like they envy you because of something, or because you're able to express yourself in the way that they wish they could, but they wouldn't be accepted if they did.
Yep.
So they kind of shun you away to start off, so you never even have a chance to get involved with them because they don't give you that right.
Yep. And then they also feel like that you are they want to feel like you think that you're better than them, but that's not the point. My thing about it is, if I have a family member that's successful in whatever situation that they're doing or whatever they're building for themselves or their family, I want to be around you to uplift myself.
Right. We're going to absorb this together.
Why do I want to tear you down? Because we're blood. Right. You know, but you have that type of situations with straight, gay, white, black, etc. It's going on around the whole entire world. So
that's why they say family's what you make it.
Yeah, family is what you make it.
And it's not always blood, because it could be somebody that you just met and y'all grow and develop, and you see that, damn, this person really believes in me, and this person really has the best interest for me, and this person really is pushing me to be my better self. That's my brother.
Yep. And it strives like with I'm so glad that me and my husband, we don't have to deal with the sexuality portion of our families not wanting to be around us.
Right.
Because on my side, my family loves him dearly, loves everything about him, and he's white. Hey. And it's vice versa with his family, because his family is white. You know, they're from Hazard, they're in the sticks, they're country, and they love me. They love me. They love me. I could come to the house without my husband.
HaVic, I gotta speak in one time. I just gotta give it up to in-laws, because speaking
the greatest of all time, in-laws.
So I actually have to agree. I am very blessed with my in-laws, with this person sitting right here next to me.
Come on, Uncle Cha-Cha.
He's my uncle.
I did not know that.
Yeah. He's nephew to me.
So
Tamara's my niece.
It's wonderful.
My niece.
Gotcha.
But shout out to Tamara. We love Tamara.
Come on, Tamara.
Boo boo.
That the mechanics, they accepted me from day one, and when we got married, like they was calling, like, funny story real quick. Tamara told her mama about us being engaged. She was like, "Oh, he's gonna be part of the family." Her automatic response was, "He wasn't already."
Period.
Word up. That's Mama's my mother.
Okay.
To know her, to love her. She's never met a stranger. That's
right.
You know, I get it honestly.
And like her mom, which is his sister, from day one, she accepted me. So in-laws accepting
absolutely
the better half.
And like, I'm not gonna say everything was perfect. Far as our beginning stages of our relationship.
That was a hard perfect, though. You was like, perfect?
Perfect? What the fuck you had said?
Yeah.
But it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't like in our face direct. But me and my husband are so educated and so smart to where we're so observant. Mm-hmm. So we kind of chimed in on that, and we knew we kind of side-eyed each other. We knew what the tea was. You know, you can feel the love, or you can also feel the shade.
Yeah, and the distance.
So what we did, we ignored it. We kept doing what we were doing and make sure we come around and knowing it's not affecting us, you know. So we just kind of shied and pushed away from you without even telling you that we was doing that. So I'm not going to bring up who it was, but yeah, so we just kind of ignored it, and everybody around that person was not feeding off of that person's energy.
Right.
So everybody was like, you know, shugging it off like, we love him, you know, we love them, you know, whatever. So that person kind of got over whatever it was and got on board.
Mm-hmm.
And because he thought that he was the one that was being left behind because of their thinking, that person's thinking. Yeah. So like, here, let me readjust and actually. Yeah.
And some people are set in their ways. Some people are set in their ways.
And I said he just because that's what popped into my head. I don't know.
Or just didn't know like how to take the whole situation because of past issues with other relationships before I came around.
Right.
So I can only understand, but I can only be who I am to make you change that.
Right.
With who I am, and I did. Oh, because me and that person now is like good.
Well, it's the same thing on my end. Like the previous relationship that Tamara's had, you know, they like it was open arms, but at the same time they still felt me out. Mm-hmm. And then once they got to know me, it was
it's like you got to give us a chance because we're not those same type of people, you know. Yeah. And just let me be involved with this family. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be able to change the whole dynamic of the family once you do that, because you have to be open and willing and able to know who's around you. You know, how can I be a contribute to your emotions and your children and your mother, your father, etc. on both ends.
Right.
And it was done that way. And we're perfectly like fine when it comes to that. But a lot of people aren't. And I just want people to keep the faith in that and to keep striving to make a change in the world and to be who you are, because that's the only person that you can be.
And your family might not be the closest people to you that you consider family. It might be a family that you have created for yourself. I'm going to tell you one thing, that in the gay community, a lot of times our families aren't the closest people to us. It's the brothers and sisters that we make in the gay community that are the closest to us. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not necessarily, and it doesn't have to necessarily be because your family has disowned you or your family doesn't like you. It can be because your family doesn't understand you as far as you being a gay or a transgender or whatever the case may be. And it can also be the dynamic of you being adopted. And you might be adopted into a white family but be black. And that white family doesn't understand you. So you find a whole group of black friends that really understand you. And you're like, oh, this is family too. Not taken away from the family that you have, but you've also created a family for yourself, which is not technically just a family, but a community and a support system. So
yeah, and you learn like stuff like values of love, respect, hope, faith, care, culture, ethnics, traditions, and stuff like that. We have to make sure that we are mentally stable to be able to be who we are.
I'll go ahead, but that's what I want to speak on. That part right there, I was waiting on that. So everything that you said is correct, but everybody's not going to have your strong mentality. I'm talking about the ones that's dealing with what
absolutely
you deal with. And so I want to speak on the ones that struggle, that still are looking for acceptance, that know that they have to step away, like you said, because of the shade and how they're being treated. But even though they have to do that, sometimes they don't know how. So they continue to deal with it because they don't know how to find balance. And then even when they do step away, it changes them.
Yeah.
It changes them. They become somebody else because now, whether they know it or not, they take it out on other people. You know, and so I want to dive into that a little bit because y'all might not know this, but I deal with youth. I deal with middle school and high school. I do youth church.
Okay,
and
that's
so,
wonderful.
As a matter of fact, I'm teaching a lesson this Sunday, and the lesson is about accountability. So what I want to say is, whatever you're going through, there's two things that you must always keep with you that will never change you and that will make you better. Is to always have love in your heart. You have to have love in your heart, no matter who it is. You know, if it's your mother, if it's your father, if it's your sister, your brother, anybody, a friend that treats you improperly, you just have to love them from afar.
Yep.
You have to, because if you don't, it hardens your heart. And and no matter what you go through, you cannot allow it to change you because you matter. You matter. And you know, it's going to hurt you because you know that this is not who you are. You know the difference when you're used to being nice to people, being friendly to people, and then somebody asks you something, you be like, shut the fuck up.
The fuck you have said.
Yeah, you know, but when you get off in them four walls by yourself, it hurts you.
Okay.
It hurts you. And so the first thing is you have to have love in your heart and not let what you've dealt with change you. It leads into forgiveness. You have to be able to find a way to forgive the person. I'm sorry, I hit the mic.
You're good.
forgive the person. I'm talking with my hands for y'all that don't know this. I'm good with that.
He's feeling it.
So you forgive them for yourself, and it's not for the other person. So sometimes we don't know how to humble ourselves. Like, you know, F them, screw them. I'm not forgiving them. I never want to see them again.
How can I forgive them for what they did?
And let's just say that you don't.
But you can also forgive them and still not be
But
around
you don't have
them.
to deal with them. Amen for that. Yes. You don't have to deal with them. So that, like I said, because this is the thing, because if you don't forgive them, you will always struggle. There's always going to be something that comes up that's going to change you. Like, somebody's going to be talking about a situation, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember when such and such treated me like that. Ugh, give me a minute. And so you change, and so you become somebody else over something that you were never able to let go.
And the thing is, and it's not necessarily, I completely agree with what you say, and to elaborate on what you say, it's not necessarily you forgiving the person, but you have to forgive that person for yourself.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a verbal, hey, D-Lo, I forgive you. It can be you coming to the conclusion that, okay, this person hurts me, and I forgive them for myself. Because if I don't forgive them, then I can't move forward and be happy with myself because I'm still held back by what they did.
And it changes.
And that's the kind of thing that I'm kind of dealing with when it comes to my blood relative,
right?
Family.
Yeah, and it kills me because I thought that we would be more close than what we are, and that they would know who I am because we grew up together.
Right.
And at this point, that's something that I have not done, was forgive myself.
Say that.
But I can say that my husband has been a very supportive person that I can talk to, and a very person that is positive in my life for me not to go down that angry road, to be so vicious with other people to where it affects me, and it's so easy. But I have that, and I'm glad that I do. But one thing I haven't done was forgive. So I want to say that I forgive you, and I love you.
Yes.
But I cannot be around you.
Yeah.
I cannot, because of the things that I have going on, because my marriage is my number one priority. And what I have going on with my family, I don't want it to affect what I got going on with the future with my husband and my in-laws and and with my family that I am close with. And to whom, and my circle, and to whom teaches its own. I just can't, I don't want to have no type of anger in my heart, which I did, but it was built upon hurt.
Yes.
And I can't channel that to anybody else like that, because I got a lot of stuff going on that's positive in my life, and it feels good.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing on my end, because I have a relative, and my whole life it was more or less that person casting judgment on me, so much to where I question faith in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, so I grew up on my mom's side of the family. It was they were religious. My dad's side of the family, I don't really know, because most of the people that I know, my dad's side of the family was me, my brothers, and my dad and my aunt. Now it's just me and my brothers. But my mom's side, I have this one particular person that all she did was cast judgment. Everything I did, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell.
For what?
Everything. Like, so I had a girlfriend. Well, she took it as automatically having sex out of marriage, so I'm going to hell. Okay. No matter what.
Thank you so much. That's what I want to say.
No matter what I was doing, I was going to hell. Like, there was nothing, like, it got to the point where she kept doing that to the family so much. My mom looked at her and was like, if this is the way you think, you're going to be a lonely person in heaven.
I got to chime in on that, because we're kind of going through the same thing with one of my in-laws that I have never spoken to, but we know the kind of information because we're getting it from another in-law, and that person got right, okay, and that person got sick and in the hospital, and I send my condolences. I can't do no more. Because of the shade, because I'm still a person, so I'm kind of like, okay.
Distant.
And distant, and they're trying to come around and be nice and, to other family members and talk and discuss like that. So I guess it's their way of trying, because you've seen the end coming. So I just don't know how to take that, but...
Well, so, like...
Do you have any advice on that?
Well, my thing is, so it's the same thing when it's happening to me right now. Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I ain't no names, but she was my great aunt. Okay, she's one of 12 kids. My grandfather, which is her oldest brother, he's the oldest of the 12. And then my great grandmother, like she was the person in my life, the consistent person that kind of saved faith for me, because I would say she was the true definition of a Christian. She wasn't about casting judgment on anybody. And my whole life, this particular aunt, she cast judgment on everything I did. Since then, my great grandmother has passed. My grandfather passed. I had another uncle, which is his brother, passed. And so now I think she's starting to see in a different light that every time I come around, she's not really doing the same thing that she was doing. Now, especially now that I'm married, because every time she brought that up, I would blue.
Right. Everybody has feelings, you know.
Yeah, just because like the way I thought is, and that was kind of the thing that drew me away from church, was because every time I went to church, I was casting judgment. So I figured that if I'm living with love in my heart, I'm living righteous.
Right, and you know what I'm saying? People's going to judge, you know, people have their own opinions about things, and you have to kind of like really shake that off, you know, and keep moving forward, and, you know, for it not to affect you or put you in a type of state of depression. And then that's another thing too. There's an age difference, so people are so like stuck in their own ways and stuff like that, which is what I'm dealing with another family member that's kind of, you know, older and stuff.
Stick with what you just asked him about the visiting the person at the hospital, because I want to chime in on that too.
I didn't actually visit the person in the hospital.
I mean, right, I know,
sick,
right?
But I want to hear your point on that.
That's where I want to go.
How do you feel about that?
Okay, so you explain why you didn't, but to me, it's not about you're still shackled because you use what went on and how they judged you to not be the bigger person and not have love in your heart, because at the time it wasn't even about yesterday. Yeah. It was about a sick person in the hospital, and you just wanted to show your support. But you let what went on yesterday hinder you, so you still shackled with that.
No, I told the family, you know, she's, right. You know, I hope she gets better, you know,
right.
stuff
but
like
I'm saying
that.
we just talking about that. Right, and you said, but you just can't. You said you just can't. Mm-hmm. But if you really wanted to, I mean, okay, it's okay. So let me give you 2 examples. If you say I can't because I got a flat tire and I can't find my way over, I can't make my way over there. That's one thing.
Well, she's about 5 hours.
But away. If you get and that's understandable.
Yeah, she's about 5 hours.
But if she was here in Lexington and you said I just can't because of how she treated me yesterday, see now that hinders a little bit of the love. That takes away some of who you are, and you're still shackled.
But I wouldn't have done that because of the support of my husband,
right?
And how he's got me grounded to be able to be the bigger person.
So you would have somebody to talk to help you through that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been no talking because we were already at the point to where we would have went.
Right. She was saying, okay, well, then that's all that matters.
Your aunt is, you know, sick. Let's go.
And
even if she's like an hour, 2 hours away, we're going. Let's go see your aunt. Make sure she's good. You know. To be the bigger person.
So you just need to get to a point to where you don't have to have that discussion.
Yeah, I don't have to have the discussion with her. Yeah. So if it was a go, we're going in the car, we're going to go see her.
Right. Let me give you some advice, because from where you was coming from, I seen where you was coming from, but you was going as far as like the beef or the difference they had. The advice that you're looking for as far as like, should you lean into this person who had this sickness, but before the sickness had all this negativity towards what y'all were building? My thing is, you're shackled, and because you are thinking like, I don't know how I feel about this, lean into it, see what that's about.
Right.
Because if they had this epiphany so far and now they're trying to come around and they're trying to get to know you, let them get to know you, because it might actually bring out and let them see that, okay, he's actually not a bad person.
The fuck you had said, and you know what I think I'm gonna do? Yeah. I think I might try to get that person's contact number and might call them to see.
And you don't even have to call. You can send a text.
Yeah.
And see
it's a small steps.
I might do that,
if they're an old person, you might want to call them.
But let me give you one more angle real quick. I want to, and this, you're going to love this. Let everybody bear witness to who you are, because it's not always about you. If somebody else is going through what you're going through, that you can show them that you can deal with this the same way. You're not alone. You're not alone in this.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can do it. So sometimes what you go through is not always just for you and about you. Yeah. So whether you text or you go see them, let them bear witness to how you rose through. Here I'm a phoenix. Here I rise. No matter what I went through.
You know what? I think
rise.
it's gonna. My husband's gonna look at me like it's gonna throw him.
You can't see.
So what the fuck you saying? But it's gonna throw him because he would not expect me to do that. But he knows the type of level that I'm on when it comes to the person that I am, because I'm a changed man because I was this person 3-4 years ago.
Hey,
but
I was not this person 3-4 years ago.
I got some stuff that I can't put on the mic.
What the fuck you is saying?
And then also too, I mean, like I said, keep that love in your heart. Show him that love, because
he's provided so much love in my heart and changed my perspective on so much.
And the thing is, he's providing love, but your heart is only showing the love that you have inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That love was always there. He's just bringing it out of you.
And plus, you were saying that
the fuck I
you didn't know that, you know, whether because she's at the end stages, if she was being somebody different, that might be the case. That might be the case. But everybody is worthy of forgiveness, no matter what stage of life they're in. No matter what stage.
And regardless of the fact, something that she cannot change is that we are still family, because I'm married in with you, baby.
And my last name,
my last name is, you know,
what
yours is. So my thing about it is, so we have to be able to change the dynamics of the family that we have to give it a chance,
because it's different now.
And when they're gone, you can't get that. You won't. Get it back.
And it's like, what if I did? What if we talked? You know, how would our conversations be? Me and this person might get along so well.
And see, that's the thing that changed me too, because in my family, I've dealt with so much death.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my great grandmother, my grandfather, my dad, my aunt, you know, my cousin, just a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a little bit about me is 8 years ago. All in 1 month, I had my grandfather and my grandmother passed, and my dad passed. And like at that point, like, cause like my dad and my grandfather, it was two of my father figures. You know, my dad was like my best friend. My grandfather was my strong father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those went in the same month. I didn't know what to do. Plus, I was taking care of my dad, and so that right there was enough for how short life is.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I
got
apologize about that.
I've got a great story for that.
It at that point there was no matter what she could have said on giving judgment out as much as she could, that I just looked at her and was like, you know what? It's not gonna bug me, because like we both said,
right.
As long as you got that love in your heart,
right,
you live in righteous.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to continue to have that because of what I'm building with my husband and my life and my future and the friends that we have in our life. And I want to put a shout out to those friends that have been family members in your life. Because I was checked by his peers and his friends and stuff when I labeled them as a friend. That was like, hold on, what you talking about? I said, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I say? I said, we ain't friends. I said, we family. And my jaws dropped.
Well, it's the same thing with me and HaVic.
You wanted to cry,
and you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know,
for real.
Okay,
like, that
type
of stuff will get you.
That type of stuff, and it's just great to have those type of wonderful friends that can, you know, bring that type of family atmosphere, because that's what they are. That's who they are. And I just want to put the shout out to the friends that are truly friends and that are there for you to support and love you through thick and thin.
Yeah.
And I want to say one more thing real quick to the people out there. When they're gone, there's no coming back from that. And I have a quick story to share. I had a best friend. His name was James. He called himself Cricket. Me and him were the best of friends. We were always together. But every now and then, we would kind of fall out. And it would kind of be his fault, but I would always be the bigger person. And I didn't understand what that meant then. I was like, okay, well, he's learned his lesson and we'll do better. So that happened maybe 2-3 times. We stopped speaking, and then I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, you know, he'd apologize, whatever. But this last particular time, we almost came to blows. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be the bigger person this time. And so Tamara's mom, her husband, my brother-in-law, he came to me because he knew the guy. Their family lived on the same street. And he said, yeah, Cricket told me, you know, let you know that, you know, everything's cool and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, F him. Fuck him. You know, the next time I seen him, in a coffin. And I'll never forget that. Because I always thought that we would make it right. I always thought I had time. I always thought that, but I put it on his time and not mine. And that's one of the biggest regrets that I have in life, that I never got a chance to make it right with him. And so that's important. Remember that you're not promised tomorrow. That stuff's real.
And I don't want to have that same situation happen with me.
Yes, you don't.
That you just had, because
you never get over it.
I'm going through a situation right now with a friend too, and it just shocks me that I was cut off. Don't know what is going on with that person. We never got into any type of spat or argument.
Right.
But his life must be changing or something, to where he's just feeling, he's just going through some type of situation that I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen, because we have always been tight, two peas in a pod.
Right.
And I'm glad that we talked about this subject, because I want to say that you three have really helped me to realize how important it is to be the bigger person, to try to reach out to see if I can change any type of dynamics with those type of certain situations.
If not, continue
being able to forgive at a distance.
Yes.
Being able to change things. So I'm just glad that we've had this conversation over this bottle of wine.
And 2 bottles.
It opens up a lot in my heart. And I want to thank my husband.
Yes.
I love you dearly for making me the person that I am today. And I appreciate everything you've done, because I'm a better man because of you.
That's going to wrap up the family dynamic, and we're going to switch over to the narrative versus yourself, which kind of plays in a little bit with family dynamic, because, well, you'll see in just a second.
What the fuck you is saying?
We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back, y'all, and we are going to dive into narrative versus yourself. And when I say narrative versus yourself, I mean, like, have you ever been a subject or a stereotype of the narrative put on you by the government, social media, television, and even the job market? And when I say the narrative, I'm saying, have they put you in this stereotype that you have nothing to do with? Whether it's being from a impoverished neighborhood, or being a certain skin tone, or speaking a certain way that doesn't fit the mold of what they represent. If you have, this episode is going to be for you, because this whole dynamic of the narrative, what the government's pushing on certain dynamics and certain avenues of people, is ridiculous. What social media is showing to those same demographics, or what television is putting on TV to represent what these people as a whole are, or the job market and what they feel is a good candidate for their company as far as what your appearance is, or how they feel about you, or the dynamics that you could bring to their company. It's just insane. How do they expect anybody to live happy and without having reserves about walking into a certain establishment, or looking for a certain type of job, or just being you in learning and going to school and getting the best education possible? Is ridiculous to me. So this episode is going to dive deep into that in this segment, and we're going to get some feedback for these 4 superstars that we have sitting around us. So the 2 biggest dynamics that I've seen when it comes to the narrative for Black people in general is either you're going to be successful being famous or you're going to be successful being ratchet, because those are the 2 dynamics that I see on a daily basis. Am I lying though? Like, you're either going to be a famous basketball player, a famous athlete, a famous singer, or you're going to be ratchet and you're going to be cast on television shows like The Baddies or Bad Boys Club, or you're going to be like famous and going viral for beating somebody up in a parking lot. Like, that's literally the 2 dynamics that you get from. You don't get those people that have went to school and studied. You don't see those people on your screen in front of you. Like, I am a self-made millionaire because I went to school and I learned this and I applied this to my life, and you can too. You don't get that. You get those 2 dynamics, and then you have the government shoving stuff down your throat, like the businesses they put on in your neighborhood, like the liquor stores, the housing that is surrounding you, that you can only apply for these certain houses, because if you apply for something in a gated community, you're going to have Becky next door or Robert to your right that's looking at you sideways because of your skin color. Or even the security within the neighborhoods that they give to you, as far as nobody showing up when you need them because they hear over the phone that you're a Black man, and they don't feel like they need to get to your neighborhood as quickly as possible. Or even in schools, where they give you this certain set of educational tools that applies to partly you, but mostly your counterpart. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come to social media, it's videos that you see of nothing but our kind or Black people. And I say our kind when I'm talking to 2 of us, because the 3rd person in this room is a white man, but he completely knows what I'm talking about. He's not excluded from this because he's come from a background where he's very diverse in where he's coming from. He's lived in the neighborhood. Hell, he's married to a Black woman who I'm sure has came from that same type of background. But the videos they show you of just ratchet people dancing, like, and not to take anything away from it, but like Freaknik. That's the dynamic that they shove down your throat.
Come on,
on a daily basis. And like the TV shows on television, in the job market, which is you go in there and you apply for a high executive job. You can even have the credentials to apply for this job, but you apply for it when, and I'm going to use your name, but when Daniel did, and because you might even have even better credentials for the hiring process, where they're going to choose him because they feel like, oh, he's a Black guy. If we tell him something, he might go against what we're trying to tell him, or he might get an attitude, or he might feel a certain type of way. So I just feel like they need to stop painting this narrative and show a lighter side of our community, or communities in general, because it's not just with our color. If you are from a certain neighborhood, and you can be white, you can be from, and I'm using this word, but I don't feel this way, but you can be from a trailer park, so they call that trailer trash. Right. So what they're gonna push down your throat on the corner is a liquor store. They're gonna push a more impoverished neighborhood to where like it's run down, and they know that they can push drugs into that neighborhood, so they're gonna push drugs into that neighborhood to where they keep you down. So it's not just with my people. It's with any demographic where there's poverty and where they want to hold you down.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. And I definitely agree with, I want to say that I think people in general do that as well too.
Yeah.
I think they segregate themselves because, or limited themselves to like, this is all I have. This is all I can do. This is all I know. Instead of being able to evolve into a better person and be able to change the dynamics of everything. Go for the job because you know you have the credentials. Go for what you know. Try to get that housing. Try to get that education. Try to basically advertise your education that you know that you have, to know that you can make a change, and you don't have to stick to what society thinks that's all you know.
Come on, self, because that was the other half of it. The narrative is what I just explained. The self is what you just explained.
What the fuck you had said?
And didn't even know it. But my thing is, when I say narrative and when you're speaking on self, why do you think that people feel that way? Like, oh, I can't go for that job. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I should be like this. It's because of the narrative.
It's because the narrative been shoved
So that's why I say narrative versus yourself. You have to fight that narrative. Yep. You have to push past it. You have to see that you are just as capable as a Beyonce or as Elon Musk or as somebody that you see like, oh my God, that is a celebrity. I wish I could do that. You can. You just have to apply yourself and do that and be that person. As long as you go for it and you fight for it. Like, am I wrong, y'all? Like, do y'all see that aspect?
And it also goes past skin deep too.
Yeah.
Because growing up in my hometown, because I'm not just from Lexington, I'm from Maysville.
Right.
You have in Maysville there was 2 powerhouses of families. And it may be
the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Nah, actually, I am part of that. I am part of the McCoy.
Oh shit!
The fuck he is there, Jolie.
That just happened, y'all. That just happened. That just happened. Oh snap!
So in Maysville, there was 2 powerhouses of families. You have the Fraleys, which is my mom's side,
okay,
and then the Lloyds.
Okay.
And so, but
I don't know why I still want to laugh.
Go ahead, that really was. So on the Fraleys, on my mom's side, you know, my grandfather, he basically ran the town from McDonald's.
Oh wow!
Needless to say,
Man.
On my dad's side, you had my great uncle. He was a judge, probably one of the best judge Maysville ever had. And like I heard stories about that growing up. Like I could run into anybody as soon as they found out my last name. They was like, "Oh, your uncle did this for me."
How did that contribute to the narrative?
So hold on, I'm getting to that. All right, so then you cut it down to my dad. All right, my dad was kind of like the black sheep of the family, and no matter what they did, they looked at me as my dad. So
they put you in his narrative.
So I could walk around, my brother could walk around, and all of a sudden we get that red and blue lights. We're getting searched off top just because
who your dad
they
is.
see my dad and not who my other family is.
Right.
Now, and I have 2 cousins. Their stuff got swept under the rug as mine got put out the light.
Right. Not fair.
So,
the narrative works in many various avenues.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And it just, and that's why I was grateful that I got out of Maysville when I did.
Because now you're able to give your own narrative. And
yeah.
who you
and
are.
So when I got here, nobody knew me. Nobody, and it just.
But do you think that like when you were in Maysville, do you think that hindered you from success, or do you think that made you want to be like your dad to work because people were already saying that was your narrative? So did that push you into doing the thing?
No, and I heard that my whole life. People kept saying you're going to just end up like your dad. You're going to end up just like your dad. You're going to end up, and there for a while I believed it. And sometimes, even still today, I still have that in the back of my mind.
But you're fighting it.
But I'm trying to fight it.
Narrative versus self. Narrative versus self.
So it's like, still to this day, like some of the things I did as far as like in my career wise and kind of hoping where I'm going here soon, it's going to fight back on that. And I have to get that out of my mind because I've heard it so much. It's still there, and then I still feel like even to this day, I've heard it my whole life, even from my dad, that no Lloyd has made it past 75, and I'm get the one of the Lloyds that not consumed by alcohol. Cheers, by the
Come
way.
on, bottle of wine. That bottle of wine is gone.
I actually did quit smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
So I'm trying to better myself,
You're changing the narrative, but you're beginning your own narrative.
Exactly.
So your kids can then be looked at in a better light than you would look at.
But I didn't also believe that neither. So I had a conversation before I got married, even before I met my wife. Well, before me and my wife reconnected. It actually was like it's a weird coincidence because I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and my mom, she was like, you gotta quit those things, it can kill you. I was like, and I literally told her, I was like, it's gonna take something better than myself for me to quit smoking cigarettes. I reconnected with Tamara. We started talking. We got the way we are. I quit smoking.
That's the same way I was I am with my husband. Like, 'cause I was smoking.
He's smoking bad.
I was smoking
so
bad.
Basically, y'all had to find something to make you feel like you mattered.
Yeah.
You had to have a reason to matter.
That you were better than the narrative that was
right.
behind.
Like I said, how I feel is, to me, it doesn't matter if these kill me. I may be better off dead. Speaking from your end,
right?
But and whatever you was going through might be the same thing, just a different scenario. But sometimes it happens,
and that might not even be something they were thinking. It could have been a subconscious thing,
right?
Too.
But something made you not care about, the consequences of how something could kill you.
Mine was lack of love.
There you go.
That's what mine was. I had nothing to lose.
There you go.
I had nothing to prolong my life for.
Right.
I didn't have nothing.
I didn't see the future work.
Yeah.
But Cha-Cha, you are the wisest of us all.
I'm the oldest.
So have you seen firsthand narrative, and have you experienced it? And as far as narrative versus self, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I've dealt with a lot. There's certain things that I'm still trying to shed. I was in all advanced classes, and back when I was going to school, there was a minimal number of black kids for various reasons. They labeled us as this person needs to be in special ed, but they didn't know how to teach us. So everybody couldn't grasp the way that the teacher was teaching. That's all it was.
Right.
So here I am in advanced classes with all Caucasian students, and so I'm talking proper. And then I lived in a white neighborhood, and so, but I was still black. So I experienced racism firsthand. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter how I treated them or how smart I was. And then the black kids didn't accept me because I wasn't black enough. And this was in my time. This is the 70s and some of the 80s. And for me, my struggle was, where do I fit in?
Right.
If there's and a lot of people don't know this because the party don't start till I walk in. But
what you said.
But when I'm around a large crowd, I get a certain kind of way. I'm the person that gets up against the wall like it's too many people. It's too many people. I need to be by myself to feel comfortable. It's hard for me to feel comfortable because it took me a while to figure out where I fit in. But now that doesn't even matter. So, and then not only that, the school teachers were different. So they put me in a box, no matter how smart I was. I remember I told a story about the missing piece of chocolate cake. And at the end, I was a detective or in the household trying to find my missing piece of cake. And I found my sister with chocolate cake around her face. And I'm standing in the front of the classroom telling this story. And my teacher said in front of the whole class, how could you tell she had chocolate on her face? That's what I had to deal with. And I still remember that.
Respucia said, I ain't no damn cake.
Yeah, and I didn't. Right.
but that's insane.
But that's stuff that I still hang on to because. Yeah, but then a part of that is now that the world is different. I'm like, maybe I could have been different then. But knowing what I know now, that the times was different. I probably would have got kicked out of school and that goes into my next point. So part of what you're saying is true, but there's some of it that I feel like we reap what we sow because the free thinking part, I understand that part. They always put that in our minds. You can just be who you want to be. Be who you want to be. But now it's to the point to where there's no foundation, there's no boundaries because money talks. Yep. And then, so now we have multimedia to where, like I said, it doesn't matter. Now a female, if she can have a master's, a doctorate, or whatever. If she's not satisfied with making $150,000 a year, she might turn to OnlyFans. Yeah. She might do that. She might do it, and they're getting younger and younger. And not only that, like I said, and I do get your side of it. They do try to put us in a box and make us feel like that we're less than, or make you feel like that if you don't do this, then you won't succeed. I get that part of it. I do. I get it. But there's some things we have to hold, and it starts in the household. Because I get on TikTok now, and these kids, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds saying fuck this and fuck that, or they just be they're on Facebook, and my family ain't having it. My family ain't having it. Like if and I can't stop my nieces and my nephews and my sisters from putting anything on Facebook. But we're all friends. My aunties, uncles, all of that. And if you say something out of pocket, we're gonna check you. Thanks. We can't stop you from saying it, but we're gonna let you know, hey, you need to clean that up, man. Your granny's your friend on Facebook. And we don't have that anymore because it's more friends than family structure. Yep. And so there's some of it you reap what you sow, because when the cell phone first started becoming a multimedia object and they started letting kids have cell phones at 9 and 10, I saw it coming. Because now, the kids were getting their cell phones taken away, and now they calling home, and the parents like, give my child back their phone. Yeah. But your child is not paying attention in class because they on their phone. Let me deal with that. Okay, and then when your child get an F, the teacher was wrong. And so you reap what you sow. And so there's just a middle ground that just has not been met. And now, and I'm gonna say this final point because I don't want to hog everything, but it's like, and this is just what I see. It's so easy for a free thinker to be okay with whatever, and they say, well, who are we to stop them from being that free thinker? And I'll give you an example. Going up into school and disrupting class because you want to protest something. Okay, they have that right, but there's other people that could care less about that. Right. Don't even pick a side, and you disrupting their education. Right. But if you go up against that person and say you're disrupting their education, they're coming after you for that. And I don't think that's right. I just don't think that's right. I don't mind you protesting, but don't disrupt my child's education. Protesting the hallway. And so there's just a lot of you reap what you sow. Yeah. And so there's a lot of chaos going on because we wanted our kids to find their own path. We wanted that. But at the same time, you still have to have delegation. You have to have delegation and authoritative figures, or it creates chaos. Mm-hmm. So you're saying like it all stems back to the household. You got to have structure in the household for the structure to feed into your everyday life. Yeah, and we've lost that. And we've lost that due to social media. Yes, money. It's money. Yes, it's money. And now it's kind of like you have to have a certain. If you're not famous or getting famous on social media, then you're not nobody. Right. And so everybody's trying to get that. So they're gonna do that off the wall shit to try to get that, and they know that goes against what their family is taught them at home. So let me ask you a question. What if clicks and likes were not worth money? Would it matter? No. Would it matter? Because see, that's where the money fits in. It's hard to. You can't say no. And let me speak because I'm actually. Go ahead. Me being a social media person, the clicks and the likes, if they weren't worth money, it'd still be worth something because that means that you're still being seen. You're an adult.
Right.
You're an adult.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
That's your freedom of choice. That's your freedom of choice. But back to what you were saying, what we're talking about are the influencers that feel like they're less than because they're not like what they see.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So social media,
no, money's everything.
Yeah. And and not only that, acceptance. There's no more going out and making friends and becoming your own person. You have to, and that's why the bullying rate is up among teenagers, because social media makes you feel like you less than.
Yeah.
It's not okay to be yourself anymore. And so that's where the free thinking just kind of lost its way, because
now
being your own self was a good thing. But now being your own self means being like the next man on social media that's got 1 million views. And that's not being yourself.
Yeah.
And not only that, a lot of them on social media are fronting for the camera. It's not even real.
That was a high five if y'all didn't hear it. Because that's the big thing. Because they will go and buy an outfit to wear it and post it on social media, and then they get offline and take it right back to the store.
Yes.
It's kind of like the way Cribs used to be on MTV. They flashed those big the big homes.
Oh, yeah.
But that wasn't really their
Don't
home.
even really live right.
You know what I'm saying?
But let me tell y'all something. What y'all just hit it on, you hit on TV shows, you hit on social media, and those are my topics. Social media, the videos that are posted, and the influence that is given to these kids, and then television, the news, the TV shows, the politics, the storyline that these TV shows are feeding you, make you feel like, okay, I'm not gonna be anybody if I'm not this.
Right.
I'm not. I can't be seen, or I can't be successful if I don't fit this mold or this image. Like, and that shouldn't even be a thing.
Right. And that's where the government comes in.
And that's where the government.
That's where the government comes in, because the government makes it okay.
The business aspect of
it.
it.
Right. Or just being able to step up and say, no, that's not cool. But see, being a government, being a political figure, acceptance and popularity counts. Yeah. So they might not believe that, okay, it's not cool for you to let your 5-year-old child cuss you out on TikTok.
Right.
But we can let a president say, grab her by the...
Right. But they say if I shut down TikTok, I'm gonna lose votes.
Yeah.
So now we can't trust the politicians to have our kids' best interest until it's too damn late.
Right.
Until it's too damn late. Like opioids. Crack was a problem. Of course, like you said, when it was killing us. But then the opioids start trickling into the suburbs.
Now
they're like,
problem.
So now rehab is an option.
Yeah.
Where was it when No, I'm not gonna say that.
But now have you noticed that? But now have you noticed that opioids ain't a problem no more? Now it's TikTok.
Yeah.
Or now it's these people out here doing this.
But you see how they trick TikTok. So TikTok, they're like, China's got something to do with that. It's intelligence. They're taking information, so they found a way to infiltrate that to make it a bad thing, without still making a decision about how to raise your child.
Yep.
Well, even opioids is still a problem, because
they sweeping it under the rug with other issues.
Well, but like I said in previous episodes, my wife deals with endometriosis. At the end of that time, she deals with ER level pain. Pain management has told her that they're getting ready to cut off her pain medicine because
regulations
of the relationship of the opioid.
I'm in the healthcare industry, so I see that. I see it. I see it, and so their hands are tied. They want to help you. But what do you do when you give a person a prescription for, and I'm not saying this is your relative, but you have somebody that's got a prescription that's supposed to last 30 days, and they come back in 15 saying my meds are gone, and you're not taking them but you're not taking them like you're supposed to. And they have regulated that. So yes, there are people. The opioids are still a problem, but here's the difference: they regulate that. And they still put money into that to try to fight it. They were never trying to put money into fighting crack addiction at all. And that's still a problem. Heroin is still a problem. But you got to fight that through the court system. And say, okay, well, you got two choices: I'm gonna put you on probation, and you gotta go to rehab, and then we're gonna put you back out there if you complete this. But then they just let you go, and then and you're done. And you're done. But the opioid, they'll give you this, they'll give you that, they'll give you, they're like, I just feel like the rehab process is better suited for the opioids because it hit the suburbs.
Also, too, in the difference, they keep pushing narratives as far as illegal immigrants. They at first it was the whole crack situation. They want to say the immigrants was pushing crack in. Now they're trying to say immigrants are pushing fentanyl in, which fentanyl is a man-made drug by Big Pharma. So how is immigrants pushing that in there?
Government.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's like you said, that's a part of the government that they need to hold themselves accountable. Like you said, there's just so many things that they push out there with regulations that they've made okay. As far as big companies or whatever, how you're able to, go to an interview, and that's different from what's being profiled.
Right.
There's a difference between a narrative and being profiled. Because even in saying that, back in my time, there was a certain way you had to look, you had to dress, and it took me a while to adjust to somebody going to an interview. If they got dreads, braids, whatever, and not going to get a nice clean cut with a fresh fade or whatever, and being able to take your dreads out and have your hair all over your head. To me, I'm like, you're not getting the job. But but that's okay now. And it took me a while to adjust to that because I'm like, I would never teach my child that because I know how they look at us.
I had to do the same thing with the job I just got because I felt like I was not going to get the position that I had because I had dreads and I cut my hair off. So I felt like I had to change my appearance because of the job I was stepping into because of the narrative. Yeah. And the appearance as far as the job marketing.
And it's changed drastically.
But I felt like I had to. I was like, I've got to change my look. I have to be more clean cut professional in a health environment. Working at University of KY.
That's where I work.
So I had to.
I work at Marquis.
Me too.
I work at Marquis.
I'm a patient navigator there. Yo, we got breaking news. I work at Marquis, Kansas City.
I do too. The Tower 11. I'm Tower 1.
Oh, you're in Pab A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, on the 11th floor. So you had no inpatient. I deal with the outpatients.
Okay.
Yeah, you deal with so you're on the inpatient floor, Mark. Yeah. That's I got you.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'm inpatient dining.
I'm just here on my
I need a sandwich tomorrow. Monday.
I'll be there. I'm just here on my own little island, y'all. So
get a job in UK. No, you're white. You'll never get in. No, I'm just playing UK. It's just a joke.
We love UK.
I love my job.
I do too.
But I just felt like I had to do that. I had to change it for what I was seeing and far as like what I seen on TV, what I seen on TV shows, when I walked into the building and the whole dynamics of the floor, I was like, I've got to cut my hair.
And let me ask you a question. How many times did you hear it's hard to get in at UK?
I've heard it a lot.
Oh, I heard it. So now you feel
But I've tried for years.
Right. But it might not have been your time.
Yeah.
Right? It might not have been your appearance because it's a different day and time.
I didn't have the credentials and stuff either.
Right.
I didn't have what I had.
But when somebody's telling you, but you'll have people telling you, but not only are they telling you that it's hard to get in, there's some behind them saying you'll never get in there because I tried and I'm looking at you. Get off the block. Maybe you can. If you change some of the things you do.
Yeah.
So I never let that discourage me. I just always felt like it's just not my time
because of those people that's trying to be that narrative,
right? And I'm gonna tell you,
stopping them from actually being.
I'm gonna tell you what actually kept me from not giving up, because because they send you that email when you're sorry the position has been been given to somebody else. At the end of that letter, you know what they say? don't give up. And that's what kept me going. That's what kept me going.
Yep.
Don't give up. And so I said, I'm not going to give up because they told me not to.
Because I was actually one of those
prove people wrong.
I was actually one of those people that had that narrative thing going on when I was trying to get in the UK.
Yeah, me too.
And now that I am myself, I got in without a problem.
Right. It's about getting and sometimes it's about getting your foot in the door.
Yeah,
and that's the part that they don't talk about. But sometimes because sometimes it's, and that we might have to save this for another show. Playing the game. Sometimes you have to play the game.
Play the long game.
Because sometimes they be like, don't sell out. I'm not selling out. I'm not selling out. I'm not selling myself out. I just know what I need to. I'm just trying to, because sometimes they don't see that because they don't understand your mental psyche.
Right. And it really doesn't have to be that you're selling, that you're playing the game. You're just bettering yourself.
Right. But I'm saying,
but I see what you're saying.
If you go against the norm for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That narrative.
I'm just doing that. Yeah. If they say, don't cut your dreads. You selling yourself out. You growing your dreads for years.
Look, I know I needed to do it to better myself.
When I get my foot in the door,
let me cut my hair and I can grow.
Yeah, it's about getting in the door.
Let me get them people to see who I am, and then once they see who I am, I'm gonna start growing.
What I do is not even what I wanted to do. I'm IT. I'm an IT person. Well, I used to be. I'm not. I dabble now. But I said I'm just gonna get my foot in the door. And then once I get in the door, I'm gonna hit all these IT positions, So it was just about just selling myself.
And far as playing the game and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You have to. I mean, it's also about your appearance as well too, but it's about how they feel.
Right.
That person that's seeing you, how they gonna feel about what they see.
I told them in my interview, no matter ever outwork me, I kept it real.
It's how you feel. How you gonna make that person feel when they're trying to give you that position. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't think she's gonna take me seriously if I have this type of appearance.
Right.
I'm gonna try to better myself to make me more clean cut, to be more professional, for myself to change my dynamic of myself.
And so I'm talking about the ones that this new generation that feel like if they don't want me as I am, then they don't need me.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Them are the ones that feel like that they selling themselves out. And they should, sometimes you just have to play the game. Yeah. It's just about the game, and it's not about because if it's really what you want. Sometimes you just have to be, and I don't.
You would make those sacrifices. It's something that you really want.
It's a sacrifice.
It's even like mine. Like when I was growing up, I was a teenage kid that had long hair. I'd get it braided, so they let.
I would love to have seen that.
I
did. But they and I got pictures, by the way. I got receipts. But it was one of those things that like they was like, oh, well, you gotta cut your hair, blah blah blah, and I was like, man, F that. Why do I gotta change my appearance for them to accept me? And I mean, they didn't know that. Yeah, I was growing out my hair for a different reason. Like I would cut it, donate it, and regrow it, and I did that for a good, I would say, until in my mid-20s, and it goes within that appearance. Like they seen a white kid with braids
selling out his race.
Yeah,
selling out his race.
So what it pretty much
for the culture.
So what it pretty much boils down to and concluded out, like narrative versus self is something of the past. It's more like it's self. But you have to think logically. You have to think smart. You have to think about the long game. You have to do what's best for you in that moment in order to succeed in life, in order to get that job, in order to get that housing, to become that person that you want to be. You can't look at nobody else as far as the blueprint for your life. You have to make the life that you want to have, whether it's sacrificing your appearance to fit the mode of the job so you can just get your foot in the door to be successful. Once you get your foot in the door, now you get them to know who you are for you to be able to be your authentic self within that position. So like, yes, all these things are relevant in the aspect of what's being pushed on us, but it's all about what you allow yourself to be susceptible to.
Right.
So with that being said,
money doesn't breed success. Money doesn't breed success, because you can be successful. And like I said, you see it. These there's women that make good money, but it just wasn't enough. I was making this much as a school teacher, as this or as that, and then they decided to do OnlyFans because they could double or triple that. And so all money is not good money, because you're not always going to be that young, vibrant, whatever you call yourself. You're going to get old too, and then what?
That was Cha-Cha's final thoughts. HaVic?
My final thoughts is that you have to sacrifice whatever it is you need to sacrifice in order for you to be a better person.
Yes.
It doesn't have to mean that you're selling out. You just need to become a better version of yourself to defeat the narrative. You have to make the money and don't let it make you.
All right, those were HaVic's final thoughts.
Yes.
D-Lo?
So I'm just gonna piggyback off both of them thoughts. You have to realize, like, even on the women that wants to do fans only, like, or only fans. I keep saying fans only.
You can tell that he ain't into it like that.
Hey,
Tamara will break his knee.
So, but it's just like those women, like, figure out what's gonna be best for you. To the people that feel like they're selling out because they got to do something different because they don't want to change their appearance. Sometimes, like he said, the sacrifices have got to be made.
Right. And I'm not knocking any woman for doing OnlyFans. It's just, I just think that, quick money, you can be happy without the money.
All right. And that was D-Lo's final thoughts. My final thoughts are, be your own kind of happy. Do what you need to do to get where you need to get. If that's sacrificing something for a short time for a long-term gain, do so. Don't put yourself lower than you know that you are. Always set your stakes high. Always be your true and authentic self. And that doesn't mean that you sacrificing something right now makes you not less than your authentic self. That just means that you're playing it smart. You're doing what you need to do for you and for that family that you're trying to create or that family dynamic that you have. And also, you got to shoot the long shot in order to make it big. Just like the NBA players, just like the people that's going for the Olympic Games. They shot their shot. They made their sacrifices for that long-term gain. And now they're reaping the rewards of it. So with that being said, this will conclude this episode of the Mike Podcast and wrap up season 1 with 10 episodes. I'm your boy Javi of the Mike Podcast Mix in Chat and the Fuck I Had Said with HaVic. Here with my boy D-Lo.
Yo, podcast comes through with me and Cha-Cha. What it is.
What it is, y'all. What it is. C to the H to the A, C to the H to the A all day.
Y'all heard Cha-Cha and HaVic.
Let's wreak havoc. We will be on our podcast. The Fuck I Had Said.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next season.
Peace.
Deuces.
Later.